Hi, Dr. Mayukh. You may begin your presentation.
Good morning, everybody. Can you all hear me? Am I clear?
Yes, very clear, Doctor.
So yes, anything?
No, it's just like few seconds break, yeah.
Okay. We have more than 90 students here, and Mr. Vicky just informed me that we have a registration of nearly 140 people. That is fantastic. Let's hope the rest of the people can join us slowly. Without taking time, because we've already gone 10 minutes over the starting time. So let's start our discussion, workshop kind of thing. And again, while I discuss things with you, I would love for you to give me lots of questions. I will take your questions after my talk is over. And most of my questions, which you give to me, I would prefer they relate directly to your own qualitative research. So my focus today would be qualitative research, and it will be better for me not to give you general answers. Rather, if you have any issues with your own qualitative research, you tell me your topic, and then I can help you, whoever I can, give you individual advice or guidelines. So that's the plan for today. I'll share my screen and then we will start. All right, can you all see my screen? Maybe give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Okay, good. Thank you, Vicky. Okay, so my topic for today is to understand the philosophical standpoints in research. And I'll focus more on qualitative research because that is my background. That is where I come from my bachelor's to my master's to my PhD. I've always been a qualitative researcher, and I come from that paradigm as well. So we'll discuss more about qualitative research. Again, let me, Vicky, give a very long explanation about me and my background. So I'll not go into explaining that. I come from the School of Hospitality, Tourism and Events in the Taylor's University, which is under the Faculty of Social Sciences and Leisure Management. So my PhD was in hospitality and tourism. I am where many of you are, maybe 7 or 8 years ago in 2014, 2015. I was exactly where you are. I'm also a certified hotel hospitality educator, and I'm certified in hotel industry analytics. So again, more towards the hospitality industry. But my research focus is always qualitative research in hospitality, tourism, as well as in gastronomy. Before we start, I want to show you this photo. And I want to connect with all of you just by telling you that I am exactly like you. I was a researcher just like you, just like all of you PhDs and maybe some master students as well. This is me in the field. This is me conducting an interview with my respondent. And if you see this photo very carefully, you'll see a few things. First, you will see that the respondent is talking and I'm listening. So that's what qualitative research is. We want them to talk as much as possible. You will also see that he doesn't have any survey questionnaire or a pen in his hand to fill up a Likert scale, for example. So this is what we call thick descriptions. He's talking a lot and I'm listening a lot. And you will see in front, there's my laptop, which is sitting here. And my audio recorder is on so that I can record his voice so that later I can transcribe it and then understand his real meanings. And while I'm listening, you will also see a piece of paper in my hand. this is my list of interview questions. These are qualitative questions. They are open-ended questions. And if you see, maybe it's a small photo, but they are just 7 or 8 or maybe 9 questions only. But every question, I want him to talk 10, 15, 20 minutes. You will also notice that this is an office setting, and this office is this gentleman's office. So he's in his comfort zone. I did not bring him outside his comfort zone to my office or to a restaurant or to a place which is not comfortable for him. So he is very calm. He's sitting in his boss's chair. I'm sitting in his guest's chair, and I'm listening to him. So this is a very common photo of qualitative research, and interview is one of the most common ways of collecting qualitative data. And why do we do interviews? Is because of this sentence said by Margaret Mead, which I love this sentence, because it says, what people say, what people do, and what people say that they do are completely different things. Margaret Mead was an American sociologist and anthropologist, mostly anthropology, and she studied human behavior and how and why people make decisions. That's what qualitative research is. And what she says is, many times people say something, but they don't do it. They do something else. But sometimes people think that they are doing something, but they don't do it. So that's what they say they do, but they don't do it. So as qualitative researchers, we do not believe in what people say only. We do multiple ways of collecting data, interview being one. There are other ways. You could have participant observations. You could just do a non-participant observation. You could take field notes while you just sit in a corner somewhere and observe all your respondents going about their life and take notes. So there's multiple ways. That's called triangulation. You will take multiple ways of collecting data, triangulate all those ideas, and then present it as your findings. So you will correlate what people say and what people do. Is it the same? And if it's not the same, we ask them. Of course, in a nice way, we don't accuse them, but we ask them that you say you like apples, but I never see you eating apples. I always see you eating oranges. So would you like to explain about that? You always tell me that you love apples, but I see oranges on your plate or in your tiffin every day. So, you know, we go deeper, we divulge deeper. And interviews like this are one of the ways of doing qualitative research. So I'll start with this, and let's go ahead. Einstein said that everything that can be counted does not necessarily count. Now, this is my way of indirectly telling you that I do not believe in the quantitative way of collecting data, because sometimes you can count a lot of things, you can quantify a lot of things, but that may not be necessary. Sometimes things which are really necessary to be understood, you cannot quantify it. Things which are necessary for the world, for the academic community, for the governments, for the policymakers to understand, you cannot quantify it. For example, feelings and attitudes and behaviors of people. The only way you can find out these things are by asking people, observing people, and correlating the asking and the observing. So I really believe, and you know, people always say Albert Einstein came from the scientific background, but he was a qualitative researcher. You can read his papers and you will realize that. First thing I want to do is, I want all of you to go to this website, which is padlet.com/Mayukh, /CHDR. And I want you to post your name, your research topic, and your proposed method which you're using. Again, this is not for everybody. This is for people who want to ask me questions regarding your own topic. So I will stop sharing the screen. I'll just open this link again. The link is here. I'll copy it and put it in the group chat. So it is in the group chat. You can just click it. When you reach this page, I want you to post your name so that I can address you. Tell me about your research topic. Again, it doesn't have to be the nice, proper topic. Just give me an idea what you want to do and which method are you using, not methodology. I would like to answer questions for qualitative research only. So I assume you're all from qualitative research. Which method you want to use? Participant observations, ethnography, interviews, focus groups. What method are you going to use? And how you do this? You can either press this plus button here and write down your name and then write down your details, your topic and whatever, and then publish. So either you can do that or you can just double click on my screen. Same thing, you can write it down here. So I'll leave you to do this while I'm talking. You can continue doing this. And then after I finish my talk, I will start looking at your answers here and then maybe help each or whoever wants some help, I can help you with your individual topic. Thank you. I can see some of 5 people writing here already. Okay, going back to my slide. Again, remember, if you are not able to hear me in between, if my connection lags or if there's any issue, please let me know. Send a message or switch on your mic and just let me know. I will stop and I will begin from where I stopped. Okay, there's some people joining in again, so it's popping up on my screen. Okay, so now I'm just going to ask you a few questions to see your beliefs and what do you believe in? And do you think, again, these questions are not directly related to your research, but let me show you this. It's a question about hoax and reality. Again, these are all my questions. You will not find this stuff on the internet. It's just things which I like to ask my students. So do you think there is a shark which is pink in color, which has a very long snout or a mouth, and it has a mouth which looks like an alien? You know, in the Alien movie, the mouth comes out of the face. So the shark opens the face and the mouth pops out like that. Do you think something like that exists? And it looks like an alien. So do you think this is a hoax? Am I making this up, or this is real? You can type. I can see. You say it's a hoax. Okay. Maybe I can show you a photo. Again, you can see the photo and tell me whether this is created by somebody on the internet. You know, people create graphics, or do you think it's real? All right, look at this. It's pink in color. I know somebody told me that, or I saw it on these travel National Geographic channels, that we have pink dolphins. I've seen pink dolphins in the rivers in India and China. But pink shark, which looks like this, where the mouth is coming out of his body. What do you think? I see lots of answers. Maybe in the ocean, it's photoshopped. Okay, it's a hoax. Somebody says it's real. Maybe in the deep ocean. Okay, fantastic. So let me just tell you that this funny thing is real. It's called the goblin shark. It's a really old lineage. You know, it's coming from, the lineage is more than 100 125 million years old. It's also called a living fossil because you don't see it much. It's very old. Usually, yes. Anybody saying anything? Usually this lives in really deep oceans. Don't worry, it does not pose any danger to humans. So it is true. I've seen this on TV. So I went on Google and I searched about this because I enjoy animals. And this was very interesting for me. It looks scary. If you see the video of the shark, it looks scary. Its mouth actually comes out, catches the prey and brings it back in, just like the alien in the movie. All right, let me ask you another question. What about this? A fish which looks like a flying saucer, you know, like the spaceship, a flying saucer, round fish, and a fish which can walk. So this fish looks like a flying saucer, and this fish can actually walk in water, of course. And the fish which has beautiful red lips, better than my grandma. Again, let me show you a photo. Why is my keyboard slightly slow? Look at that. Now this fish is also real. It is found in the Galapagos Islands. It's a bad swimmer, so that it needs to walk. Again, you can search for it in the on the internet. Now let's go ahead. It's going to get scary now. Whoa, look at that. That looks really weird. Really, really funny. And scary as well. That's true as well. That scary looking thing is actually called a floppy snake. It has a scientific name which I can't pronounce. It's given here. These are aquatic animals with flat heads, fleshy body, no gills, so they breathe through their skin. Again, scientists don't know much about this animal. So why I'm just showing you these photos. It's not directly related to our talk, but there is a little bit connection. And the connection is, I just want to change your paradigm. I just want to make you think. And that is very, very important. Whenever you're doing qualitative research, it's very important to not have preconceived ideas about the world. Don't have ideas that whatever I see is correct and whatever I have not seen doesn't make sense, or it's not true. So it's a snake in the ocean. Okay, somebody replied there. So basically, I want to tell you what is a paradigm. A paradigm is a way of viewing the world. It's like, you know, it's like wearing specs. How do you see the world? Everybody sees the world differently. So it's like a set of glasses which you're wearing. And it is a way of understanding the world. Everybody understands the world differently. And that's what that's one of the reasons why qualitative research is really important, because everybody on this planet is different. We are humans, but we all have different thoughts, likes, dislikes, actions, behavior, and qualitative research strives to understand this difference and strives to understand why people do what they do. Look at this child looking at water coming out of a tap. And he says, how can so much water fit in such a small spigot? How can so much water be coming out from such a small thing? This is a qualitative researcher. He doesn't believe that, okay, water is just coming out. He's questioning it and saying, how is it coming out? Why is it coming out? Where is this coming from? So that's what we do as qualitative researchers. And if you see the photo in the bottom, that is what we should not be doing. The teacher here says, I expect you all to be independent. Independent is the important word here. Innovative and critical thinkers. and do exactly what I say. So that means the teacher is telling them, I want you to be independent. I want you to critically evaluate everything in life. Don't accept everything at face value. But whatever I tell you, that is correct. So, he's going against what he's telling them. And that's what I tell my students, that whenever we are doing qualitative research, whenever we come from the interpretivist paradigm, we don't force our ideas on others. As a supervisor for my PhD students, I do not tell them what to do. I guide them in the right direction. I tell them, based on your work, this sounds like something you may be interested in. After that, it's up to you to explore that thing, understand that thing, critically evaluate what I told you, and then accept or reject it. You can accept, you can definitely reject the idea which has been given to you by your supervisor. Not just me, by all your supervisors. But please evaluate everything that has been told to you. Don't accept anything at face value. And that's how you will become an excellent qualitative researcher. Question everything. I'll go ahead. I just need to keep a check on my time. So the philosophical standpoints in qualitative research and quantitative research, this is just a couple of slides where I talk about both the research fields, and then I'll focus more on qualitative. So first, you may have heard about this word called ontology, epistemology, methodology, and methods. So ontology is what's out there to know. What do we know? What do we understand of the world? So positivist people, they understand that the world exists independent of the researchers. That means what I see out there, what I find out, is not influenced by me. What's out there is out there. However, qualitative researchers or constructivists believe that the phenomena which I am finding out, the phenomena which I am researching, or which is coming out in my analysis, is continuously accomplished by me and my respondents together. So it's a mutually made meanings. So that's what we think. And epistemology basically means, how do we know what we know? How do we understand things in the world? Positivists think that truth is out there to be discovered. The truth is there. I will go out, I will discover the truth. However, interpretivists like us, we say that the truth is not out there. The truth is negotiated. The truth is made when I talk to somebody and we discuss about it, and then we come up with a mutual meaning. The meaning of the truth, the worldview which we come out, is not his meaning. It's not my meaning. It is us sitting together, discussing and coming out with the meaning. That's our worldview. So it comes with social interaction. Interpretivism requires social interaction. Quantitative researchers, they use deductive methodology. They find out general things from literature, and then from there they go to specific. They check it. They test it out with their group of people. So they have something called a conceptual framework. On the other hand, qualitative researchers are inductive. Induce. Take it out. It's not there. We produce new research. So we see observations of a few people in detail, and after our observations, after our interviews, we create new theory. So qualitative researchers are explorers. We explore and we create new knowledge. Quantitative people see this new knowledge which has been created. They take the knowledge from different research in the past 10 years. They create a conceptual framework, and then they test it out with their group of people. So that's the basic difference. Nobody is right or wrong. We are all correct. The only difference is we create, we explore. You know, like Christopher Columbus wanted to find India, but he found America. So Christopher Columbus went to the west of the planet, trying to find a faster way to come to India. But instead of finding India, he landed in America. And then when he saw the Americans, he said, oh, Red Indians. That's how you call the American natives as Red Indians. So they're not Indians, they're Americans, Native Americans. So we explore, and after we explore, we create a theory that this is how people behave in this part of the world in 2021. So we create a snapshot of history. And then quantitative people see this snapshot from me, from 10 other people, and then they create a conceptual framework. They create a concept, and then they test that concept with another group of people to see whether it matches what we discussed or does it not match. So there's a difference in acquiring the knowledge. We acquire knowledge differently. Quantitative people would interpret the phenomena, again, what I discussed, and qualitative people would create new knowledge or create new theories, which can be tested again by the quantitative people. So we are mutually helping each other. Many times people assume that qualitative and quantitative are enemies or they are completely different. No. Qualitative people also need quantitative data to understand the worldview. We want to read literature and we want to understand what's happening in different parts of the world. But so we qualitative people are guided by the literature. We do not take the literature at face value. We just get guidance from it. And then quantitative people need whatever we created, need the new knowledge which we created so that they can take it and test it out in another part of the world or with another group of people, another demographics, younger people, older people. So they test it in new. So we create knowledge and they test knowledge, trying to be very simple. Okay, I hope you can hear me. In between, while I'm talking, I do not see the group chat. If you have any questions, you can ask me the questions after the talk is over, because I will not be able to see the group chat. And when you want to ask questions, you can ask me questions by switching on your mic and your camera, so that easier for me to answer. All right, I'll go ahead. Now, this is a research onion, or it's a diagram created by Saunders, Lewis, and Thornbill in 2012. They call it the research onion, where they're putting all the research methods into one circle. If you see, the outer circle talks about your paradigm or your worldview. On one end of the paradigm, you have the positivists, positivism, or people who follow quantitative research. And on the other side, you have interpretivists or constructivist, interpretivist. And in between, you also have another paradigm which is called realists, and we have another one which is called pragmatism or pragmatists. Now, realists are a part, it's a subset of positivist thinking, positive style, and interpretivist, which is qualitative researchers. Pragmatists are more, they really want to find solutions for the world. So they are, they don't just explore things, but they explore things which can have a solution. And realists are very similar to pragmatists, but they do it in a quantitative style. So they find out things like who has, the power balance in the world, who is more stronger, whose ideas make more sense, why do they make more sense, and why does the world follow them. So realists are a part of positivists in their philosophy, in their worldview. And then they do, the way they find knowledge is positivists deduce knowledge, whereas interpretivists induce knowledge. So they deduct what's happening in the world, and interpretivists, they induct, they induce knowledge from talking to a few people. Now you can collect data qualitatively or quantitatively. You can have mono methods, which is the most common, but you also have multi-method quantitative or multi-method qualitative. There's another one which is now becoming very famous, which is mixed method, which I personally feel is very complex. A lot of people, a lot of students want to jump into mixed methods because they've heard this term before, or maybe their supervisor asked them to do mixed methods. But in the end, when I see the actual work, it is not mixed methods. If you started out from a quantitative method, quantitative mindset, the work is completely quantitative. Maybe they just do a couple of interviews and they consider it as mixed method. And it's not, because even those interviews which were conducted in a very quantitative way. They were conducted, the type of question which was asked in a very, very quantitative style, closed-ended questions. So the answers received was not the real answer, but the answer received was the answer that you expected, because you only gave, it's like you're saying, I'm only giving you this and you have to choose between this. But my answer could be outside this circle. But because you only gave me this, I have to choose between here. So the answer is not correct. You made me choose between this. My answer was that. So many times mixed method research, again, in my opinion, most of the time is not mixed method. It's either very qualitative or very quantitative. Just by using a style of collecting, just by using a method, a quantitative method or a qualitative method, your methodology does not change. Your paradigm does not change. If you want to do mixed methods, you really have to do a lot of reading. Really have to understand the basis of both positivist mindset as well as interpretivist mindset. Maybe you need a supervisor, one supervisor who comes from the positivist mindset, another supervisor who comes from the interpretivist mindset. And maybe, again, you are students, so you are doing all alone research. But if you are doing research papers with somebody, definitely you should pick up, if you are a quantitative mindset person, pick up another person from a qualitative mindset, so that both of you can work with your strength to do a mixed method research. Then it may be valid. Otherwise, I personally, at the moment, I'm not very happy with the type of mixed method research coming up. Then you have different kind of methods in the middle. You can have surveys, case studies, ethnography, which is much more detailed. This is what I do. Action research, grounded theories. You can do the research cross-sectional. That means at one period of time with various types of people. This is mostly done by quantitative researchers. Cross-sectional, you go cut across society. So you say, my research is in 2021 and I'm doing males and females and young adults, middle-aged group, older people. So you're going cross-sectional. Whereas on qualitative people usually do longitudinal studies. So their studies are based on a period of time, saying that my research is not for males and females. My research is for people living on this planet between the last 5 years. What do they feel? People living on this planet in Kuala Lumpur, in an urban Malaysia, in the last 5 years. What do these people think? 10 years from now, if you do another research with the same group of people, you may get a different answer because people change. So longitudinal studies are over a period of time. cross-sectional studies are in one period, but with different groups of people, males, females, young adults, older adults, things like that. Or people with higher salary, people with lower salary. Then you compare, what do the higher salary people think? What do the lower salary people think about your research? And after that, the final thing is you start analyzing your data. Again, all quantitative people would use SPSS or smart PLS. Qualitative people would use coding, field notes, generating themes manually, which is the hardest, but the best to do. Or you could use different kind of softwares, similar to like SPSS for quantitative. Qualitative have softwares like ANOVA or, Atlas TI, not ANOVA, sorry, Atlas TI or NVivo. Many softwares are available. QDA, there's another software, German software, which you can use to analyze data, to sort out your themes and put the themes together, maybe create graphs also. So again, just wanted to show you this. I'll go faster because I want you to ask me more questions. Why I don't believe in positive mindset, I think you're getting my idea already. Look at these two squirrels here. This one says, I have never seen food that is not circle. Therefore, food is definitely circle shaped. Because he has seen fruits which are always round, he thinks every fruit is round. Whereas this person says, I have never seen food which is not straight. He can only see fruits like this. So these are very quantitative mindset people, saying that because I see something, that's the way it is. But that's not always the case. Please remember that sometimes things are not very obvious. Sometimes things are obvious, but it's hidden. So you have to go deeper and really understand what's happening, why is it happening, what are the reasons for things to happen. And then you'll realize things are not so obvious. Things are not so easy to understand. And that's what qualitative researchers do. Again, look at this photo here. The teacher says, I've taught you how to learn on your own space, take your own time. I've set goals for each of you individually, so all of you can do whatever you want, give individual goals, reach your own potential, and show me the results which you measured with a standardized test. So he starts out in a very positive, in a very qualitative way. He says, I know that all of you learn things differently. Some of you are visual learners. Some of you learn by writing. Some of you learn by memorizing. Some of you learn by doing stuff, physically doing stuff. So I'm going to test you by one test only. So that one test becomes very quantitative. If you do only a written test, what if the people are not good in writing? What if they are good in using their hands to create stuff? So standardized tests is not what qualitative researchers do. We do triangulation, we do thick descriptions, and we do that by doing multiple ways of data collection. Going ahead. So I believe qualitative researchers, we construct meanings together. For example, this gentleman standing here, he says that I have a strange feeling that we are going around in circles. So he is, they are watching, they have all these big, strong men on one side and they have really skinny men on the other. So when they are rowing their boats, of course, the strong men row harder. So the boat turns that side. So they are going in circles. So what he's doing is, he is talking to somebody. He's not coming up with an answer. He's talking to somebody and he's discussing, mutually making meanings. Why do you think, I have a feeling we are going in circles. Do you think the same? Why do you think like that? So mutually construct meanings. My assumptions and beliefs, again, this is when I say my means qualitative researchers. We believe in a relativist ontology. We believe that the meanings and understandings of society is socially and experientially influenced. These are socially influenced. That means if I stay in Malaysia, I get the mindset of a Malaysian. And I'm from India, by the way. So as an Indian staying in India, my worldview or my understanding of a situation may be different than as an Indian staying in Malaysia. Because my worldview changes according to the people I'm with, the people I discuss things with, the society around me, the attitude of people around me influences my behavior. So my socially accepted, my society affects my behavior, and my experiences also affect my behavior. So if I have good experiences in life, I may be a happy person. If I have bad experiences in my life, I may become a bitter person. So our experiences dictate how we see the world. If you are a happy person, you will find happiness everywhere. If you are an irritated, angry person, you will find irritation and anger everywhere. So, our worldview changes by who we are and the company which we keep. While I'm talking to you, I remember something which my father used to tell me. He said, when boys, we have friend circles. So he would see my friends sometimes and he would say, don't be with that boy. He's not a good boy. Have better company. Make better friends. And I would get really angry as a teenager because he's my friend. And as a teenager, our friends are important. But my father was not a researcher. He was an army man. But he understood the fact that your company, people around you, influence who you are and how you see things in life. That is why we always say, surround yourself with positive people, surround yourself with good people, and then you will start thinking like them. Surround yourself with, for example, if you are students doing PhD, have a friend circle with other friends who are doing PhD. Because they will only be talking about research all the time. So your mind will always go into research and then you will learn things better. Okay, people do not write things on my screen. Huh? Okay. We also believe that truth is negotiated through dialogue. So there is no real truth. Truth for different people is different. I can go into very sensitive topics like religion. Every religion has their own truth. They believe in different things. People in different parts of the world believe in different things. For example, the truth of Malaysia, you would say, is durian is the king of fruits. There is no fruit better than durian. It's the best fruit in the world. Now that truth, that is your truth, a Malaysian's truth. Malaysians would agree to each other and say, yeah, I agree. King of fruits. Again, I'll tell you, I came from India. I had never seen a durian in my life. After 30 years staying in different part of the world, I entered Malaysia. And I had never seen this fruit in my life. I didn't even know it's the king of fruits. For me, king of fruits was a mango. Because for me, they are the best fruit in the world. And for many people I know, the type of people I know around me, we always believed mango is the king of fruits. So what I'm telling you is my truth, of course, for a person coming from India, my truth is also correct. My truth is mango is the best fruit in the world. Completely correct. That's my truth. But your truth is wrong. Is wrong when you come to India. Because if you come to India and you say durian is the king of fruits, is the best fruit in the world, people will say, we don't even know what it is. How do you think that's the king of fruits? So that means there is no singular truth. Truth is negotiated with people. You know, what do researchers do? We research on something, we come up with something. Other people will test our knowledge. Quantitative people will test our knowledge multiple times, and then it only becomes a theory. For example, Albert Einstein, you know, E is equal to mc square. He came up with the theory. Then hundreds and hundreds of researchers tested his theory. And then they came up, he came up with a suggestion that E is equal to mc square. Then people tested it out in different parts of the world over a period of 30, 40 years. And then everybody believed, yes, E is equal to mc square. But that formula only applies to our planet. The moment human beings reach Mars, maybe E is not equal to mc square, because Mars is a different planet, different atmosphere, different everything. So the theory which we think is correct, Albert Einstein's E equal to mc square, only applies to people on this planet. And it only applies to the 20th century. Maybe 500 years in the future, some scientist would do another calculation and say E is not equal to mc square. 500 years ago, these ancient people were so dumb, they did wrong calculations. So the truth changed. That means, you know, quantitative people say, this is the truth. This is what I found out. Qualitative people say, the truth is negotiated between me and you. So this truth is for us right now. It may not be the truth for you and her. It's the truth for us. It is transactional. It is subjectivist. So it's not objective. It's not one rule. It depends on different kind of people. Again, same thing. The investigator is linked to what he is investigating. There is a connection between you and me. And the context and the situation will affect our behavior, our interpretation. If I enter a field in a very angry way, if I enter my data collection in a very angry way because I had a big fight in my house, whatever I see in the world will be wrong. Look at them, they are doing this wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And tomorrow, if I enter with a very happy face, because let's say my child did excellent in school, so I'm very happy. Then when I enter the world, even if I see something negative, I will convert it into positive and say, oh, this is so nice, this is so nice, this is so nice. So that means our interpretations will change according to time, change according to the situations, change according to the people. Now the people is very important. You know that sometimes you see somebody, all the students, all the teachers, everybody who's in this room, you do this, I do this. Sometimes we see somebody, we've never talked to this person in our life. But the moment I see the person, I think, hey, I don't like this person. He's not a good person. He's not a good man. We make preconceived notions. That's wrong on our part. So we already made an interpretation of the person without getting to know him. So whatever he tells me, I will say, nah, he's telling me that he's lying, he's wrong. I made a preconceived notion. That means our interpretations change according to situation, change according to the culture, change according to the society we are living in, change according to our relationship with the person. If we are having a good relationship, I like everything he's doing. If we are having a bad relationship, I hate everything that that person does. That's my assumptions and beliefs. When I say my, means all qualitative researchers. There's some people joining in between and they are not allowed in. So let me just get them to come in. Okay, going ahead. And now ontology means our understanding of reality, how we see reality. So constructivists, interpretivists like us, we believe in multiple constructed realities. We believe in that our reality is subjective. We believe that our reality is influenced by the context in which we are in. For example, if I'm standing in Afghanistan right now and they're having a lot of issues with Taliban and people fighting on the roads, my worldview of everybody will be different. I will be scared of every human being. Compared to that, if I am in Kuala Lumpur right now, I will be very happy because Malaysia is such a nice place to stay. So people are very friendly to each other. So when I stay here, standing on the road, every person I feel, I'll be happy to talk to that person. I will be not scared to talk to the person. So my reality changes according to situations, contexts. Our experience and our perception changes. And this is very important when you analyze qualitative data, to not just understand what's happening, also understand what are you feeling, because you are very important in qualitative research. You are influencing your understanding of the world. So that has to be written down in your analysis. So I told you reality is constructed and co-constructed between you and your respondents. Again, said by Guba and Lincoln, they're one of my gurus. I love reading their work. Zijian says it's his truth also that thing of fruit is durian. Okay, good. So I just put this photo here. If you know, this is from that movie, Marvel movie. What's it called? Doctor Strange. And this lady, she's called the Ancient One. So you see what she does? She plays with time and she changes the reality. She changes buildings and she changes reality. People in the real world don't know what's happening. So, qualitative people like us, we also believe, it's like multiple realities. Reality is different for different people. In Marvel movies, they take it much more further. They say that we have multiple universes. It's not a universe, but it's a multiverse, as we call it. That means there are multiple universes running at the same time, and they're all doing things differently. So our understanding of reality is different than quantitative people. So epistemology means the theory of what we can know. So we interpretivists believe that theory is subjective. It is again, like I told you, it's co-created between you and me. You means my respondent and me. And Priscilla also says, and then I love what Priscilla says in 1990. Yeah, she says, we are studying ourselves and others. You, as a qualitative researcher, are not analyzing your respondent. When you write your thesis, when you write your analysis, you should analyze yourself and the other person while you were in the field. Don't only analyze the person you met in the field. I collected my data for my PhD in 2016, 2017. That photo which you saw was from 2016 or 17. So when I analyze the answers, I don't analyze only what the person was telling me. I also analyze what I was feeling at that time, what I was looking at. Was I feeling happy? Was I feeling angry? Was I comfortable in the room? Were we having a good discussion, or maybe there was a distance between us? He was negative towards me, or I was negative towards him. All those things need to be analyzed also. Don't only analyze the person, analyze this dynamics, because that affects your final analysis. That affects your understanding of that interview. So we are studying ourselves and others. It's a very nice way of writing. I love what Priscilla said. So you need to understand who I am. When I do my research, I need to know who I am and the presentation which I'm doing today for you, you need to understand where I am coming from. Because Mayukh Dewan talking to you is not the truth. Remember, truth is negotiated. Don't believe everything your lecturer tells you. So what I am telling you, you need to understand where I come from. You need to understand my worldview. So I'm an Indian born, for example, I'm born in the late 20th century. I will not tell you my date of birth because then you will know how old I am. I have Indian values. My basic education was in India, but my further education, my master's, my bachelor's, my master's, and my PhD was in other parts of the world. I consider myself to be an exotic author and an exotic ethnographer. Now, what do you mean by exotic ethnographer? You can actually read a research paper which I did in 2018, which is given here in the bottom, Understanding Ethnography. This was in a book called Asian Qualitative Research in Tourism. It was published by Springer. So you can understand what is, by reading that article, you'll understand what do I mean by an exotic author. I'm an ethnographer. My way of understanding things, I usually understand things by doing multiple methods in ethnography. I don't like to do simple qualitative research. So that means I take a lot of time to do every research. So ethnography is basically a research method for carrying out my research with tourists, with hospitality respondents, or with gastronomy respondents. And I study my perspective and their perspective while we mutually make meanings of whatever situation we are in. Look at this photo. It's perspective. Please understand that it's not always your perspective, and also don't think it's always the guest or the respondent's perspective. Things are always, everybody has a different perspective. Look at this guy. He's standing on an island all alone, and he sees a boat, and he's like, thank God there is a boat. So he says, yes, I found a boat. I can get off the island. So his perspective is, get off the island. I'll die here. Look at the other guy. He's stuck in the boat for so long. He sees a man standing on an island. For him, he thinks he's going to die on the boat. He found land. He can survive. So he sees the land. He says, yes, I found land. So both of them have their own perspective, and both of them are correct. Nobody's wrong here. He wants to get off because he thinks this is life. But he thinks, I want to get off from the boat because land is life. So they are both correct and they have both perspective. So that is why qualitative researchers, you enter the field, you understand the other person's perspective. Where are they coming from? And maybe your worldview will change. You will realize new things. And again, you should read this paper on ethnography, and that will clear your worldview of how we see things and how everybody sees things differently. So my method, which is ethnography, I'll just talk a little bit about it. Ethnography is, Fassen says, to illuminate the unknown. Illuminate, brighten up the unknown. I don't know something, I want to find out. I want to illuminate the unknown. I want to find out and tell the world about something which nobody knows. We can also do ethnography with something which we completely know about. That means to interrogate the obvious. By interrogate the obvious, I mean, I know something. I have lived in that world. I am a part of that world. But it's not obviously, everybody doesn't think about it. So I will do a research. People know about this, but I'll do a research, deep research, to make people understand why we are doing what we are doing. I'll give you an example of interrogate the obvious. I did research for my PhD. I did research on religious tourists. And the religion, the type of religious tourists, they are called Hare Krishna. They are a part of Hinduism. I know them since maybe 20 years, what these people do. I know many members of the family. So that photo, that person standing there, sitting there was a Hare Krishna. So they follow a lifestyle. I know about them. I've traveled with them. I've stayed with them. I've eaten food in their house. So it's very obvious. But then I did an ethnographic research. I spent 4 years of my life to really divulge deeper. It's like opening an onion. I divulge deeper to really understand who these people are, how they make their food decisions, how they make their tourism decisions. And that was a PhD. So sometimes you eliminate the unknowns. You don't know, so you want to find out. You know, people say research gap. Unknown is very easy. It's not known, so you want to find out. But to interrogate the obvious is more harder. This is what I did for my PhD. Yeah? People know about it, but people don't really know about it. So we go much, much more deeper, peel the onion, keep going deeper, deeper, deeper. Or, you know, I come from hotel background, so I give food example. Artichoke. Artichoke is a vegetable. You peel the hard part of the artichoke to find the heart of the artichoke, the inside part, which is used for cooking. So it's something like that. So interrogating the obvious. So ethnography also says we discover the unknown in the understudied parts of society. So we look at understudied parts. We don't look at the overstudied parts. For quantitative people will say 70% of the population does this. Only 10% population do this. And that's their research. So many people do this. For qualitative people, we don't care about what so many people do. Qualitative people, we usually look for the understudied, the smaller groups of people which nobody knows about. And then we discover things about them and we tell the world, this is the type of people and this is the type of feelings they have, or attitude or behavior they have. And of course, I'm telling you this again and again, the meanings which I discover are mutually agreed with them. Whatever I find out, I correlate my answers with them. I tell them, this is what you mean. I analyze this. Is this what you mean? Or do you mean something else? So I'll do that. So we make meanings. These meanings are heavily influenced by society and our life, our experiences. I told you this already. Very simple. There's 3 methods of data collection, which are usually used for qualitative research. I'm not going into the detail of this now. We can do this in the next semester or sometime. You can do participant observation. You can also do non-participant observation, but it's slightly less uncommon and it's slightly harder to do. You can do in-depth interviews, qualitative interviews. There's also something called quantitative interviews. So people usually don't know that. People think all interviews are qualitative. No, they are not. So in-depth interviews can be done to find out thick descriptions, to find out real details of what people do and why people do it. We can also do focus groups. That means we take that understudied part of society. We take a few members from that part of society, members who like to talk, for example, bring them together in one room and give them a topic, let them talk to each other. Again, the answers which you get here and the answers which you get here can be very different. Not are different, can be different. Because remember, when you are talking to them one-to-one, they say what they feel, or they say what they want to impress upon you. When you're in a focus group, there's group dynamics. I say something, you want to agree with me, but you want to say against me. So the group dynamics affect the final answer. And then participant observation as well. You talk to people, they say something, or when you observe, you realize they do something else. Remember Margaret Mead when we started? That was my first page. What people say and what people do. So they say something, but they do something else. So you observe them, then you correlate them. You use more than one method for data collection, especially for ethnography. And then you correlate, you compare, you contrast, and you clarify. Clarify by talking to them again. Why are you doing this? What are you doing this? And then you analyze, you write it down in your thesis. I think I've talked long enough. I think with this, I hope you had a paradigm shift in your thinking. Like for example, paradigm. So basically paradigm shift means it's a major change in your worldview. I hope my 1 hour of talking made you question a lot of things that you knew in life, made you question your thesis, made you question your worldview, made you question your practices, what you are doing, mixed method, only qualitative, only quantitative. And that is the most important thing for a talk like this. We are not here to give you answers. Please understand, I am not here to give you answers. I am here to give you questions. I want you to finish this, let's say 12 o'clock we finish. I want you to go and say, yeah, this Mayukh Dewan guy, he talked so much. I'm so confused. I want to find out more. What is this? What is that? What is this? I want to put a lot of questions in your mind. And then when you have these questions, go and find answers to these questions. Whatever is not clear, or whatever worldview which suddenly changed in your life. Sorry, my house is very windy. Yeah? Curtains. So whatever worldview you are getting, which slightly changed before my presentation and after my presentation, read about it. Talk to your supervisors. Talk to your other PhD friends in your class, in this group, and then come up with mutually accepted meanings, mutually accepted decisions which you want to take for your qualitative research. And that's what I want you to do. Don't believe anything I say. Don't believe anything your supervisor says. Talk to your supervisor. Discuss with your supervisor. And then mutually make meanings of what you want to do, what you have to do. Your supervisor is there to help you get your PhD, help you get your final, scroll. Your supervisor is not there to photocopy his research and make you do the same thing. So you don't want to copy your supervisor. You want to do what you want to do. Make your supervisor supervise you, help you, assist you, and guide you. That's how you become an excellent PhD graduate. And these are a few of the resources which I use. If you want, you can print screen. You can just click print screen and read from there. And I think with that, I will come to the end of my slides. And I hope you all had a paradigm shift. And I hope you all can graduate soon and become the next generation of researchers. So with that, I'll stop sharing this screen. Maybe I'll quickly go back to the main screen first, just to see whether everybody's here. Okay, fantastic. Hello, hello. I can see so many here. Okay. Let me share my screen again to the research topics which were shared here. And then we can take questions on this. Maybe Yuzu can explain a little bit more what you're doing. Huh? So I see many people are doing mixed methods, exploratory, qualitative, quantitative, again, mixed method. All right, very nice topics. I can see lots of topics here. Okay. Maybe you guys want to ask me questions now. I can take direct questions. You can switch on your mic and ask me. Or we can take questions directly on your research topics, whatever you feel. Somebody wrote something in the group chat. Let me have a look. Thank you for the inspiration. Thank you so much, Yahweh. Again, guys, better to ask me questions because reading the chat is slightly harder for me. Yeah? I have some questions. What is the relationship between constructivism and interpretivism? Constructivist and interpretivist are similar. They are both coming from the same paradigm. Constructivists are interpretivists. We interpret reality. We want to understand reality. The constructivist people actually try to construct a new theory. So they are a subset of interpretive, very similar. So I would say there is no relationship. They are exactly the same. Constructivists are interpretivists, and they are trying to interpret reality and construct maybe a theory or construct a graph or to construct a meaning from the reality. Can I just say research used by constructivists? Oh, very big question. Can I just say the research used the constructivist paradigm, but interpretivism is ontological? Yes, correct. Is it study, if the study uses constructivism paradigm, does it mean they are all constructivists? This is a very big question. I need to increase my chat size. Different types of research methods used, for example, multiple case studies where observation, interview, documentation, data collection, which one is more appropriate? Again, constructivist, interpretivist is the same. They are not different. There's a slight difference, but they are the same. You can call yourself a constructivist / interpretivist. It's completely okay. Using multiple case studies or using observations or interviews, they're all different. Case studies is a different way of analyzing data. You are analyzing case studies, you're not analyzing respondents. So case study is different. Observations, interviews, and data collection, document collection, you can use multiple methods. In fact, it is, especially for PhD research, it is suggested that you use multiple data collection tools. For maybe a bachelor's or a master's, if you only do an interview, it's acceptable. But for PhD, definitely you need multiple methods of data collection. Can do interviews, can analyze data, thematically read and analyze data. Constructivists, interpreters, they are not separate. So, they are both appropriate for analyzing your data. I hope I answered your question, Nick. Hi, Prof. Does qualitative method come first and then quantitative? Or is it possible to conduct quanti first and then qualitative? That's a very, very interesting question. Do you do quali first or quanti first? What do you mean by first? Again, I come from qualitative research. I really like to discuss what you mean. You have to decide. Sorry. My cat wants my attention. Okay. What you have to do is think of your research problem. Think what you want to achieve. And based on that, you decide whether you want to do a quantitative research or quali. If you first you understand your paradigm, that's very, very important. who you are as a person, not what you want to do. First, you understand who you are as a person. You have to do a lot of reading about qualitative research, about quantitative research. Before that, you do a lot of reading about paradigms. And then after you do, you read a few book chapters, a few um, uh, research articles, even read a few blogs on the internet, and then see which one you identify with. Do you identify with positivist mindset or interpretivist mindset? And after you've identified with one mindset, then you know that is how you think, that is how you will be doing your research, quantitatively or qualitatively. Then the other one, if you want to do a mixed method, the other one is your challenge. So you can do quali first, quanti first, both are completely okay. But your challenge is to take the other one, which you do not believe in, and go so much into detail about it, so that when you do it, when you ask, for example, you do quantitative research, you are positivist, now you want to do interviews. You have to really read about how to conduct qualitative interviews, how to write a qualitative interview question, how to ask these questions. After that, how to analyze these questions, how to ask follow-up questions. You really need to do a lot of reading about that. Only then you can justify doing a mixed method, a quanti and a quali, or a quali and a quanti. Otherwise, you may get stuck in your proposal defense. You may get stuck. You will definitely get stuck in your final assessment. If you are doing a mixed method, please be very sure Taylor's University or the management will definitely try to find one examiner who is definitely a quali, one examiner who is definitely a quanti background. So you will have to really understand both the mindset. A simple answer, if you just give a simple answer, oh, quali means I do interviews. No, they will ask you so many questions, you will get stuck. So very, very important to remember that you have to understand the paradigm in detail. And that understanding will come by talking to your supervisors. Again, please make sure if you're doing mixed method, at least have two supervisors, one from quali background, one for quanti. Don't have both your I'll give you an example. I have one student from China. Again, I won't say who. He is quite senior in his work, and he was doing his research from a quantitative background. He had two supervisors, both from the quantitative background. He went for his proposal defense, and he got challenged a lot about his paradigm, about his way of questioning, about the type of questions he was asking. And then he had to change from quantitative research to qualitative research. And then I came on board as another supervisor. And that is the challenge I'm facing with the student right now. His mindset is very quantitative. His first two supervisors are very quantitative, very positivist mindset. So now to suddenly change the whole research into a qualitative research, you really need to do a lot of discussion with people from qualitative background and read a lot of research papers, qualitative research papers. So my first suggestion to him was stop reading any quantitative research paper from today onwards. Only download and read qualitative research. Only download and read. For example, he was doing, he wants to do ethnography and observations. So only read papers which have used observations and interviews. So that when you read, let's say you read 2 papers a day and you read it for a month, you've read 60 papers. Now, when you read 60 papers and you analyze, you don't read like just reading like that. Always have a pen or a marker pen in your hand, highlight things to remember, and then you'll remember it slowly. After 1 month, your mindset will change because you've read so much about it. You're talking to qualitative people, you're talking to friends doing qualitative research. Then you will be able to answer this question, whether you do qualitative first or quanti first. Both is okay. Depends on what you want to find out. So you can do quanti first, and then the results which are released, you can interview a few people to correlate the answer, or you can interview a few people first, find out their answers, and then based on those answers, you test it out in the world. Whether these answers which I received, is this applicable to other people in the world? So both is okay. In addition to in vivo, what else is common in qualitative research methods? Can you recommend some of us to learn about? Other than in vivo, you can also learn Atlas TI. You can also learn fuzzy set. What's the name? You can Google them. I mean, it's very easy. You just Google qualitative analysis tools or qualitative analysis software. There's many in the world. But again, remember, if you're doing a PhD, I would prefer if you can do manual coding, manual memoing, and manual theme generation. Generating your themes manually. And when you do manually, when you put stuff on the computer and it generates graphs for you, your learning becomes lesser. You are using a crutch, for example. But when you do everything yourself, you interview yourself, you transcribe the data yourself, you memo things yourself, you do field notes yourself, then you generate themes yourself. What happens is you know each and every question, you know each and every response from inside out. Then nobody can challenge you because you know so much in detail. So the best is doing manual, but if you want to use softwares, there's many softwares available in the market. Okay, next we have Lena, my student. Ms. Lena says, Dear Mayukh, thank you for the lecture. How to choose respondents suitable for our research? I think maybe he is willing to share some of our other principles. Thank you. How to choose respondents? Now that's a good question as well. How do you choose respondents? There's again there's convenience sampling, there's snowball methods, there's many methods. Especially for qualitative research, if you are not a part of that society, if you're not a part of that group, you have to find a way to become a part of that group. And one of the ways of becoming a part of that group, either you join the group. I'll give you an example. When I was doing my PhD, I wanted to research on, I realized as a PhD student, the amount of stress becomes very high. I'm a full-time lecturer. I have a family life to take care of. I have my students to take care of. Plus, I'm a PhD student, so I'm studying with PhDs. I can see all of them are very stressed. I can see all of them, eating various kinds of foods, which maybe they don't eat normally. Convenience food, junk food, things like that. So I did an ethnographic research over a period of 4 years. While doing my PhD, I started researching on my fellow classmates. And so I did research, I did my PhD in tailors. So my research was food habits and influences which affect the food habits of long-term tourists. So, international students. So my focus was international students. And because they are long-term tourists, they stay in our country, they stay in Malaysia for 3-4 years. So I started staying with them, traveling with them, going to the restaurant with them. So my first way was convenience sampling. They were all around me in my class, in my research methods class, da 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 da. Then in between class, we say, okay, let's go to 7-Eleven. Let's go to Old Town White Coffee in the commercial block and eat something. So I was observing how they make decisions, how they make choices, food choices. Then from there, from convenience sampling, I started getting snowball sampling because they came to know what I was doing. So I said, guys, yeah, I'm also watching what you do, your food habits, because I told them I'm from hotel management background and I want to see how, all of us are making our food choices. So I became a part of the people. I was a student. I was a PhD student. I slowly, I got, as a PhD student, they didn't know, many people didn't know I was a lecturer. So as a PhD student, they also put my name as the student body council. So I became a student council member for postgraduate students in Taylor's University. So I was a lecturer and a student council head in Taylor's University. So again, when I became a student council head, again, convenience sampling became more easy because I had access to more people who became my friends. And from there, snowball sampling happened. These people told me that, oh, my friend from Monash, which is across the highway near Sunway Pyramid, Monash, they are coming to eat here. I said, yeah, let's eat with them. So in between my classes, my lectures, have a lunch with the other students. Then we got students coming from Sunway University. So my data collection went from being a participant observer, snowball sampling, and convenience sampling. So I hope, Lina, I gave you the answer. It can, vary. Li Xiao Yi says, thank you for the seminar. Can you share some experience how to design a good qualitative interview? Xiao Yi, how to design a good qualitative interview? I can do one workshop for you maybe next year. And that's a very long, it can be a workshop for every lecturer, for every student. At the moment, I would suggest you can read stuff on the internet. Read a few. Taylor's library has got beautiful books on how to make qualitative interviews. If you're not in campus, you can also go to the library webpage. They have many soft copies also of lots of books. So you download them and you read them. It'll give you many, many ideas. Again, I can do a presentation, but we only have 20 minutes left. So yes, you can. Again, your supervisors will also help you, but the best way to learn is read books and see what are the do's and the don'ts of writing a qualitative question. Okay. Dr. Mayukh, manual code decoding qualitative is similar to thematic analysis. Thematic analysis is analyzing the data. Coding, basically, manual coding basically means you take all the data. Let's say you do 10 interviews or 20 interviews, you transcribe the interview. Every interview is 10 pages. So you have 10 pages into 10 interviews, you've got 100 pages of data. That's a lot of data. So coding basically means you take a marker pen or a colorful pen, you read, your research question, and from all those thick descriptions, you try to highlight the real answer. There's a lot of noise. When I say noise, means a lot of things people talk about, which is good. We need that. But we want to find out, remember your research question, remember the type of answer you receive for that research question. You underline those things. And from there, you put all these things together into one box. We call it a coding sheet. And then you try all these codes you bring together, you create a name of a theme. You take them and you put all these codes together and you either generate your own theme name or you use one of the codes the name sounds very interesting, that becomes your theme name. And then you analyze this. That is thematic analysis. You analyze the themes which you generated in your work, what people are doing, why are they doing, what is the reason for doing, what was the situation when people were doing this. So again, those are called field notes. You can do field notes and write on all those things. I don't have a lot of time right now. Maybe I'll show you 1 or 2 screens before I finish of a field note which I did. And maybe I'll also show you my own PhD's coding sheet. I made, from all my interviews, I made a small sheet. Not small, it was quite big. It was a very big mahjong paper to understand all my interviews. So, okay, that's the answer for that. Xiaobei says, hi, Dr. Mayukh. If the data analysis involves translation process, are there any suggestions on improving credibility of data, reducing meaning lost? Very, very good question, especially for my students from China. First thing you do, make a question in English, because we are doing our PhD in English. Translate it into Chinese in your own words. Because you're Chinese, you can do it in Mandarin, Cantonese, in your own language. Or you use, let's say, Google Docs or your Google Translate. And then give this translated thing to another friend. I've done this before. Give this translated, let's say it's in Mandarin. You give this paper to your friend and tell him, hey bro, can you convert this into English and show it to me back? So you get your friend to translate your Chinese interview into English, and then you take his answer, his English transcript and your English question, and compare them. Is it the same? If the meaning has changed, that means you translated wrong, or maybe he translated wrong. So that's one way of doing this. And I think I like manual ways. I don't like machines. So this is the best way of doing. You write in English, translate into Chinese, write back into English, compare both the English. Or maybe if you do everything in Chinese, you write your interview question in Chinese, translate into English, and show it to your supervisor. Supervisor, is this what we wanted to do? And if the supervisor says, hey, no, these are not the research question, that means your Chinese question, the meaning has changed already. So it's always better to start with the English, translate to Chinese, translate back into English. That way you reduce, same with the interviews. You do interviews in Chinese, translate into English. And if your respondent can understand English, you can show the English version to them and say, is this what you wanted to say? Because sometimes in different languages, meanings will change. Okay, Xiaowei, I think I answered your question there. Okay, anything else? Okay, these are the questions which I had in the group chat. Any more questions you want to ask me, guys? Maybe people here, any questions you want to ask me? Mixed method, be very, very careful. Huh? I discussed this already. If you're doing mixed method, make sure you give equal importance to both the methods and you really understand both the methods, quali as well as quanti. Interviews and surveys. What's a survey? Shiji, what kind of survey are you doing? Mixed method. Okay, so this will be a quantitative survey. Yeah? Hybrid system in hotel industry. Okay, non-participant observation. Okay, so nice topics. I like your. All right. Okay. Lots of mixed methods. So guys, with mixed method, I'm always slightly worried, because many times, especially what I've seen in the last couple of years in Taylor's, students would say mixed method, but they are doing quantitative research. Just doing an interview does not make it a qualitative research. Doesn't make it mixed method. It will be, you will be challenged in your viva. Long-term health effects on antipyretic drug in elderly, quantitative. Okay, so I hope, okay, so this quantitative person also wants to do qualitative interviews. So be very careful when you're doing qualitative interviews, especially while you're making the interview questions and then while you're analyzing the questions. Make sure the qualitative interviews are qualitative questions, not quantitative questions. And then when you analyze, make sure you analyze with a qualitative mindset. Okay, one more thing I wanted to do before everybody finishes, before we try and wrap up today's talk, I want all of you to go to this website. You can go to this website, or you can just scan this QR code. When you scan this QR code, you will come up. Let me also scan the QR code so I see it's working. You scan the QR code, you will come up to a website. On the website, I want you to answer a question. Just give me one word, just one word answer of what was your learning, or what was the change in paradigm. What did you feel today? What did you understand in the last 2 hours today? So you can just see the slide. Let me see whether it's opening. Sometimes I make stuff, but it doesn't open. Technology can be a problem. Okay, yes, it's opening. So my question is, what one word stays in your mind after today's research seminar? So you can write that one word in that chat. I'll give it a couple of more minutes for people to write. Okay, Ira has another Ira, sorry if I don't pronounce properly. Your question is, do you need to provide the data coding analysis in your final thesis in the appendix? Ira, it is recommended that you do, especially because it helps you, especially in your viva or for the people who are reading your work. If they don't trust you, if your analysis style is not very explicit, it's not very detailed, and if they have any questions, they can always go to your appendix page and have a look. I promised you to show you my PhD coding sheet, so I'll just do that. So if people cannot, if you cannot do the Zoom chat, you can open the QR code. I'll put this in the chat as well. So you can just click on this link. And now I will quickly share my coding sheet for somebody who asked me. Okay, again, we can do further lots of analysis on how to set up your PhD, how to have folders, things like that. Again, can't do it today. All right, so this is my coding sheet. It looks quite big because, again, this was an ethnography. Ethnography is quite intense, and it was a period of 4 years. So very long engagement with these people. Let's see whether this opens. Okay, so basically, now this is my coding sheet. It's quite big. You can see that's the coding sheet. So even when I wanted to print it, I printed it in that that very big paper in block D level 7, that we have those big printers just to read them. I'll just make it slightly bigger so we can see. So my research questions, I put my research question over here to understand the experience and knowledge of these people, understand the behavior and experience, understand their focus on opinion and values, and behavior and, oops, sorry. Focus on the Hare Krishna people's experience and knowledge, behavior and experience, opinion and values, and sensory experiences. So these were my 4 research questions. Under that, so these research questions was to understand how they eat their food, how their religion affects their behavior, how their values and opinions, is there a change in their opinion and values while they are doing their tourism experience? And also, what is the transformational push? Do they become more scared while doing tourism experiences? Do they become more relaxed in their food behavior? And then on the corner here, I had my respondents, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. Then I had the demographic, maybe 1 or 2 questions. Male, 20s, Indian, USA, Brazilian, wherever they are from, the country. And then all their answers I wrote down in, from the big answers, I wrote down what are the important things that I needed. So I wrote down things here like that. So this one page, which I consolidated, this one page helped me to analyze all my interviews and all my transcriptions. So all the interviews which I did, I transcribed them. After I transcribed, I read all of them, because I don't want to read so many papers again, when I want to analyze. There are so many interviews. So take out the juice, take out the gist, put them on one piece of paper. And again, this page for me was very big. So I just showed it to my, I didn't put it in my thesis, but I showed it to my supervisors. I showed it to my final viva, to my examiners separately, because it's so big, even if I print, I cannot put it in my A4 dissertation thesis. It's too big. Field notes, definitely if you're doing field notes, if you're in the field, if you're collecting data, this is very important. Many people don't do this, and that gives a problem. I had field note. That means when you spend time in the field, you don't just interview people, especially for ethnography. You also, again, my student is here, Lena. You will have to do this, my dear, later on. When you're collecting data, every day, maybe you print out 20, I printed out 200 copies of this paper. So every time I'm in the field, I will write the date, the time, and the place. Where am I? Then I'll write specific details of the site. Who were the people in that area? What was their mood? Their sensei, expressing style, socially differences. What are they wearing? Sight, sound, smells. Everything I'll write down, because this will help me later analyze. When I'm analyzing something, I will refer to my field notes. I will collaborate. This was the situation and this was our answers. So this is just one page of field notes. Behavior, specific words and phrases they were using, insider language, especially if you are an outsider and you will hear some common words spoken by those people. So those insider language, you can write down those specific words. Later you can question them. A field note is very, very important when it comes to quantitative research. That's all I wanted to share. Any more questions anybody wants to ask me? If no questions, then thank you so much thank you so much to CHDR for inviting me for this talk. Thank you so much to all the staff and the students from Taylor's and from outside who are here, who are listening to me, for giving me your time and for listening to me. I really hope that I did not bore you. I really hope that I changed your perspective a little bit. I made you think. I really hope I gave you a lot of questions to find answers to. And hopefully, again, if you are Taylor students, if you see me in campus, please say hello. Please remind me that you saw me here. We can always discuss things in campus. If you learn something new and you want to use it for your PhD, I really suggest you talk to your supervisors first before making such changes in your thesis. So talk to your supervisor, tell them that, okay, I attended a seminar, I learned about this. What do you feel about this? Should we implement this in my thesis? And one more thing, while doing your PhD, don't just think of your PhD, even if you're very busy. Like I told you, I was a full-time lecturer in Taylor's. I'm married, I have a child, I have a family to support. I was a full-time, I was a part-time student, but always in campus. So even Saturday, Sunday, I was in campus. So I had to do a lot of reading for my work. I had to spend time for my students. I had to spend time for my bachelor students and all for their dissertations, for exams, plus spend time for family, shopping, cooking, etc. I still found time to do extra reading and do an extra paper for something else. So while doing your thesis, you have 3 years, maybe 4 years of your life, maybe 5 years. Try to do other things also. Don't let your PhD become a headache. Love what you're doing, enjoy what you're doing, and the moment you get stressed, the moment you get tired, stop it. Do something else. Start cooking, start shopping, start doing another kind of research. Write a small research paper on a different topic. I did an autoethnography research. Again, you can search for my paper online. An autoethnography on something related to my thesis. So, that took my mind off my thesis and I did something else for a few months. Then I just published this paper, which I told you about long-term tourists. This paper was published last week. And this was all my experiences in 2014 to 2018 as an international student. So write a few research papers also. And again, if you need my help, you will find my name on the Taylor's research expert page. You can always send me an email if you want to collaborate with me, especially if you're writing any research papers which are qualitative in nature. You want to collaborate, I'm very open. And then, yes, I wish all of you the best of luck. Do well, happy researching, and I hope to see all of you as PhDs in the future. Thank you so much.